Welcome to the drawing board. Every week, Matthew Foray, James Hawkins, and me, Daniel Koshel, will be discussing all things related to the office products industry. So, episode 2 is preparing to return to work. So, last week we were given a go-ahead to start planning returning to work. So, if people in companies cannot work from home, so with this, surely it's going to be a trigger to facilities managers, HR managers, office managers, as obviously to start planning their return to work for their staff as we move through the phase of lockdown. So, what's your thoughts, Matt?
I mean, we've been obviously touching base with a lot of people, and I think there's definitely a lot of different options. I think it was a good update, obviously, from Boris, because now it's sort of a starting point of saying sort of like, where are we at right now, and then what are the stages to go through. So I think, looking at it like that, where we're at now, even that, just, I'm hearing a lot of people just communicating, firstly with staff, just checking in, seeing how they are, and then obviously seeing, can they work from home, or, have they got to come back into the office? So trying to get some numbers together to model. Again, communicating with the building management. Where are they at? Is the building fully on lockdown? Is it, again, are they looking to release it as sort of open up as well? And yeah, just trying to get, I think the starting point is just roughly what percentage or what numbers are we looking at? And then I suppose then the next thing would then be looking at what options have we got? Because, I mean, first and foremost, I think I'm hearing quite a few people and sort of reading articles on LinkedIn of how some companies are actually thinking, we can all work from home. It works really well for us, and they're making that an option to maybe lose the London office, and actually they're going to be geared up for all staff members are working from home. And then I think the stage for them would then be thinking of risk assessments. Now that working from home is going to be a long-term solution, simple things, making sure the IT is good, there's storage for the home worker, the desks are good, the chair itself is an ergonomic chair, all the DSE compliant stuff. Or I think, again, a lot of people are then, like you're saying, returning to work. So the first way I was thinking of it is mainly like, if you used to draw a bit of a storyboard and just think where your foot traffic is, simple things, the commute to work, then you get to your building reception, you're using the lifts or the staircase, you get to your company reception, all the walkways, and then to your desk. Because again, I mean, it's going to be about reducing the foot traffic. So do you look to reconfigure the desks? Do you need to remove any, unnecessary chairs? Because, it's so easy to then, if there's a few chairs over there, you take a seat down. Shared areas, just try to reduce the shared areas as possible. And then, like saying, desk clean down and, your exit home. But I definitely think, yeah, and then it's going to be timeline planning, I suppose. So yeah, I think the phases, it's going to definitely be, getting that numbers together, seeing the options, and the feedback I'm getting at the moment. It just seems like everyone's prepping and just sort of seeing what options are out there, and also seeing what a lot of other people in their industries are doing as well.
Yeah, I think I love the idea of working from home. For me, I'm not a huge advocate. I personally, it's something that it's not a strength with me. I can't really focus at home. I know some people can absolutely master it. The one thing I think some people, and kind of like maybe the heads of the businesses, really need to consider is how to engage their staff in being like innovating and collaborating, because we've seen in the massive move from the last 10 years for open plan and kind of breakout areas and kind of relaxed meetings and really taking a real in-depth kind of push on kind of mental well-being and innovating and collaborating as like staff and having a real like kind of care. So when we kind of take that human personal touch away from it, I think people still really need to think about how they're going to reach out to their staff from working from home, if they're going to work from home. And obviously, when people do return to work, making sure those collaboration and innovative areas are still kind of safe to use, because businesses are built on the back of those ideas. And we've got to put people in to give them the right equipment and at a safe distance, social distance, to be able to do that. So on to the next point. We've obviously seen loads of product. I know a lot of the people that we're speaking with, our clients, have seen lots as well. But what kind of product have you seen on the market currently, Matt, which is ensuring a smooth return to work?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, checking it off, I mean, you got your standard bits over there. You got your, the PPE for the commute to work, and now, commute, sorry, from your house all the way to your desk. You got the desk item to try to reduce your foot travel. So maybe just having as much, closer by as possible. You got your, reconfigurations, your desk screens, and then obviously the signage. The one thing that I think is going to be quite good, and it's sort of a client brought it up yesterday and gave us an introductory, is like desk booking apps. Now, I know beforehand when everyone was looking at collaborative spaces, I think there was a few solutions on the market, some quite expensive and robust, some not too big. I think it was really getting taken up by a lot of the people who really bought in to the sort of collaborating spaces. But now, people need to manage in their flow back to work. I mean, it's not as if we can do a register and go, right, who's going to be in on Monday? Who's going to be in Tuesday? That would be quite a lot of admin to do. So an app that obviously I'm guessing we'll discuss offline and maybe see if we promote, but it's quite good that you can generally upload your floor plan into the app, and then basically you can book your desks. So you can also forecast, how many people are going to be in. You could also say, there's only a 10% limit. So let's say you got, 100 desks, 10 people book. Well, that's the maximum for the day. So I see that workplace management software. I think that's going to really be quite a useful tool. And looking at it, it looks really easy to install. Literally just a sensor under everyone's desk. Everyone's got a license. It sounds really simple to roll out. That for me, obviously I know you've got the standard items, like I just mentioned, but that looks like something that's a little bit innovative.
Is there something that would be good, obviously, to release some data on it? But I guess there's, obviously, I see a lot of businesses and especially like golf clubs open this week. They're like staggering times of coming to work. So obviously, instead of like an 8 till 5 or an 8 till half 5, they're kind of staggering the times of when people are turning up to work to kind of reduce the footfall. So especially when someone walks in, they've got to try and work out where their desk is. That might take a few minutes. So again, I think that might be a good tip as well to say, right, maybe the working day is going to change a little bit. Maybe there's going to be no such thing as a rush hour anymore if we kind of spread the travel over the day. So again, I think that's right. I've looked into that product as well. I think it'd be good if we could share something after, maybe a link or to the product itself. But that's going to be key. And I think keeping live data as well, people maybe booking a desk and then saying, I can't make it in today, then unbooking it and making it available for a staff member to come in as well.
Definitely. Yeah, you're right. Because I think, even just like in my experience, it's quite nice. I've got an environment where I can generally work from home relatively simple. It's not the case for a lot of people. Even my wife at the moment, she's got to, try to work and try to manage, a 19-month-old running around. So I just think, I don't know, sorry, beforehand when we were sort of saying that A and B split, whether you're planning to go back or you're planning on moving your company to working from home, I mean, I don't see why, you could do a mix. I don't, like we've got some home workers who have worked from home for certain days for a long period of time. It works. Sorry, beforehand, touching on it, I don't think it's just an A and B route. I do think, there's definitely, it's what is going to work for your business.
So, right, yeah, definitely. So moving to the next point, how do you see the typical office environment in the next 3 to 6 months with the rebuild of the outbreak?
I think a lot of, I mean, the first thing is it's going to be phases. I think phases are going to be smart because they're going to reduce risk and give people that time to, like I say, review the data, to sort of touch base with staff to see how they're feeling. So I definitely think phasing it is right. I mean, I think I've read on LinkedIn again, some companies who are sort of just like hitting it back, sort of where they were at. And again, I mean, it might work for them, but I feel like that phase is definitely good. Like you mentioned before, buzzwords were like collaboration areas, breakout areas. There's definitely going to be a reduction on that for the start. So I think that's quite a bit of a change. A lot of people, you know, if I ever went into client offices, then I'd be up on a high table having a coffee and then going to the meeting room. I don't think that's going to happen no more. So I feel like you're going to, you know, your walkway and your foot traffic is definitely going to be thought about, not just, you know, flock where you please. Again, more cleaning, hygiene routines will just be upped. So I think, you know, pit teams are going to, you know, see their cleaning teams a lot more. And then, yeah, just like you mentioned, staggered working hours. So I think you know, you might have definitely an early morning shift, you might have a midday shift, and you might have a, you know, sort of afternoon to sort of your closing working day. So I think, again, you're probably not going to see your team colleagues as much, but I think that's how. I mean, that's just some simple things of how it's going to look.
Yeah, for me, I think it's kind of going to go back to kind of all being personable. So I know you're speaking about cleaning contractors and them upping their rates and well, not up to the rates, up their like kind of work levels and the amount of cleaning down they have to do.
Frequency, yeah.
Yeah, so the frequency. So for me, I think this is going to be like a strong demand for individual staff members wanting their own coffees and tea sachets on their desks, and even taking to the extremes of having like their own pack of alcohol-based wipes or sanitizer just on their desk, so they know, like, that's mine. I can wipe down my own desk and keyboard in my own area every night and every morning to ensure that it's a safe working environment. So for me, these kind of maybe the old-fashioned cleaning cupboard and stationery cupboard is kind of going to dwindle away, and kind of suppliers maybe dotted around the offices more to kind of control where people are going to be going to take all their product from and cross-contamination.
Yeah, I agree, because I think, you know, if it's going to be, you're just trying to limit down them shared areas, like you're saying, your storage cupboards, your stationery cupboards, your suppliers room, all them places. Yeah, beforehand it was like, yeah, you know, let's sort of move around freely. It is going to sort of take a step back. But yeah, I definitely think you're right. I think even at least when you're in your office, that's an environment that, you know, you can have a good influence and you can control and you can think about. I think the one that a lot of people, and, you know, I commute as well. So I think the one thing that is the big worrying is that commute. That's the part where, you know, we're waiting for updates from TfL to see what they're saying and how that's going to work. Because I feel like I feel like that's going to be the next big catalyst to watch for. Is, you know, I know they can say, you know, everyone cycle in. Again, it suits a lot of people. It doesn't suit the people who normally get the tube, you know, 10 miles or wherever it is. So, but yeah, definitely once you're in the working environment, there's definitely a lot of small changes that will make a big impact to that sort of first level of confidence, knowing that your company and your team are at least making changes, to respect the area, to respect the new way of working.
Brilliant. So, just on to our final point. So, giving the staff and all of their employees a comfortable, safer place to return is a must-do for office managers to encourage people to come back to the office. Yeah. So, one thing is communication. Obviously, even today we're on a Zoom call. How do you feel that project teams can communicate their return to work best to their teams?
Yeah, I definitely pick up on. I feel like you obviously, you know, you got your steering committees, and you might have your high level, you know, teams that are discussing the options and soundboarding. But I mean, obviously you need that higher tier team to, you know, like you're saying, throw the ideas around, because, you know, an idea in theory might not always work in practice. So I feel like you definitely need your select committees, and then once you've sort of, you know, filtered out the ideas, then it's very, very good to communicate with the team and give them the options that are on the table. I mean, everyone loves to be involved. The company cultures, and, you know, why we work in London, and why most people had an office is for that personal interaction. So I definitely feel like, I mean, some of the cues you've done personally, I think are really good. And, you know, I don't think you need to pepper people, you know, with a daily update, but like you're saying, a weekly update on progression, either sometimes a simple email, which is just communicating maybe some ideas that we've had, or like you're saying, pre-recording a Zoom call, and there you go. But I mean, touching on this week, anyways. I mean, it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and I mean, with that in mind, again, a lot of these things come to simple communication, and everyone just wants to be in the loop. You know, from every single team member, reception, facilities, ops, every single area just wants to roughly know what's going on. So I feel like, again, just small amounts of updates. And also I think, well, like you've done, you sort of mentioned to the team, if there's anything someone's not sure on, just feel free to contact me personally. Do you know what I mean? I think even that is quite a nice saying, you know, because, you know, some people are worried. Everyone's worried. Even the topics we've gone over today, you know, we've spoken about quite lightly, but they've got massive impacts to the whole of the UK. So yeah, I just think that small amount of communication and just basically that sort of typical what's the word, like management mantra of, you know, like, my door's always open. You know, if you need me, if there's anything you're hesitating, just letting people know the routes of channels they can go through to log any sort of what's the word, worries.
Yeah, there's the knock-on effects, and obviously being like my day-to-day role is very much kind of like team management and reaching out to people and getting contact. And I'm always experiencing, but I'm in a role as always will be. There's reaching out to people. There's things and kind of complications that people will share with you that you just won't even consider, and won't even come into your frame of mind, and you thought, I've never even thought about that. So it's good, I think, to really reach out. People are worried, they are concerned, they need to understand that they don't want to come back to a work in progress office. They want it to come back to know it's like it's done. Yeah. So if that needs to be documented, I think people are chomping at the bit to come back to work. And there's a lot of staff that like, I don't like working from home, I want to come back to work. So as long as you need to maybe portray what you're doing, understand the benefits, and even highlight some issues of concern, if these rules or the new platforms not followed properly, these could be the issues. So I think, again, being Mental Health Week, a lot of people are locked down, a lot of people are at home on their own, even if they are working from home.
Yeah,
it's still good, I think, as managers or team leaders to reach out and just ask that question if everyone's okay, and if giving them that open channel. I think the one thing that we kind of promote and want here at Office Oracle is to kind of just tell me if there's anything at all. If it's something small, if it's something large, work related, personal related. If it needs to chat in the office or a pop over to Costa, let's have a chat there and just keep the doors open. So yeah, I think it's right. I think at a time where people kind of feel a bit isolated in the minute, just reaching out and seeing, updating who the company is saying news to talk about as well. If people who aren't at the office, give them a little bit. We've normally got a 15-man office. We've got 3 people in here at the minute, but just letting people know bits and bobs, they get excited by it. So yeah, just keeping that communication, I think, is really, really key.
I agree.
Cool. So yeah, that's episode 2, prepping to return to work. Thank you so much for watching us today. And if you wanted to leave any comments and likes below, please do. Thank you so much.